What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Ballion, back with another episode of the Sports Pod. And today, we're going to talk about the Mets and why I think they might be back in contention for that third wildcard spot, and they're not as bad as their record has shown. I'm going to tell all of it on the other side of the intro. Hit it.
That ball is out of here! Out of here!
All right, getting into the episode. And I think the Mets are getting back on track. First off, Francisco Lindor is starting to get hot, and he has been as hot as anybody over the last couple weeks. It started with the players' meeting when he came out and he had 6 straight plate appearances where he got on base. It continued in Washington. He had 1 home run. And then let me see what he did in the London series real quick, but I don't think he was as bad as he was. And it's not really possible to be as bad as he was at the start of the year because he was terrible. All right, Lindor today, 0 for 5. And then yesterday in the 7-2 loss, Lindor went 2 for 4. So he finished 2 for 9, which is not good at all. He had a walk. He scored 2 runs yesterday, both the Mets runs, and then today he struck out once and went 0 for 5. So, first game was good. Second game, he cooled off a little bit. But overall, he's been hot. You can't take one game and really come from conclusions about that. We have the Marlins coming up. We need to get back on track. And we are getting back on track. And we have to get back on track against the Marlins after they beat us. I think they swept us last time we played them. I think Christian Scott gave up like 5 runs or something in one game. And then Edwin Diaz blew a game while we were up 7-2 going into the 9th. And I forget what the third game was. Maybe we salvaged the third game. I think we salvaged the third one. But we just need to get back on track here. And not even back on track. I don't know why I keep saying that. We need to continue to stay on track. We can't really afford to go on another streak like that where we lose like 14 out of 20 games or whatever it was. And I don't think this team is good. I don't. But if we're hovering around that third place wild card spot, I don't know if we should go all in or not. I think we definitely can, but it might prove to be the wrong decision in the long term. Because right now, we're not in a position to win the World Series by any means. We are so far away from a World Series caliber team that it wouldn't really make sense to go all in for a World Series right now. So it's probably better that we sell off and have a fire sale, even if we are a game or 2 behind the third wild card, because it's going to set us up better. We're going to get more prospects. We're going to get people who can help us down the road instead of people who we're going to lose in 3 to 5 years when we're ready to win a World Series. So I think no matter how close we are, if we're in a wild card spot, unless we shoot all the way up to like the first wild card and everybody's just playing at an all-star level, then yeah, go all in at that point. But if we're like hovering around the third spot, sell. It's not worth it. Going to the playoffs for 1 year and then we're gonna end up playing a division winner, which is probably gonna be like the Cubs or something, a Central team, which we might be able to beat, honestly, because the Central divisions are both pretty terrible, honestly. And if we get into one of those matchups and we win, I don't even care. It's just not worth it to go all in right now because I know we're not going to the World Series and we're not winning the World Series, which is the ultimate goal. Yeah, the experience would be good, but the players aren't going to be the same when we're actually trying to win a World Series and not in an evaluation year in the first year with a new regime, a new president of baseball operations slash GM, a new manager, a rookie manager at that, and a team who's gonna look way different next year. All right, my next point about why I think we could be back on track and we could be coming back. And when I say coming back, I don't mean like we're going to win a lot of games and we're gonna be a playoff team definite. I just mean that we're gonna be close to competent for the rest of the year. Maybe not even competent, but close to it. We have some easy matchups coming up. We have the Marlins next series, like I just mentioned. Then we have the Padres, who are a 500 team. And then we have the Rangers, who are 3 games under 500 after winning the World Series last year. After that is the Cubs, who are under 500. And then we have the Yankees and the Astros, who might be a dumpster fire as well. They're 5 games under. But for the rest of June, we only play 2 teams that have a 500 or better record. The Padres, who are 500 right now, and the Yankees, who they're like 25 games over. They're a wagon. They're a horse. They're very good, to say the least. A little bit of hiccup in the road right now against the Dodgers, though. Juan Soto, he'll be fine. He just needs a couple days off. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about them at the end of the episode, because I do have some stuff I want to say about their right side of the infield. All right, but like I was saying, the Mets, they have a very easy schedule, and yeah, when they had an easy schedule in April and May, we were terrible. Sometimes the competition brings out the best in us, but sometimes we get humbled. We get humbled. I'm surprised we didn't get swept this weekend, which I think is great that we took one of those games. Luis Torrens has been a revelation. Not even a revelation, just he's been solid since coming over here. Iglesias has been pretty good. McNeil not being in the lineup, the toxicity is out of the lineup. No more temper tantrums have happened on the field. And that's big time because Iglesias came over. I think he made his debut in the Diamondback series. We split that series. Then we swept the Nationals, and now we split with the Phillies, who are arguably the best team in baseball. And the Diamondbacks aren't a bad team either. We are competing with teams right now. It's back to the make it happen Mets and not the let it happen Mets that we've seen ever since that Brave series, excluding like those 2 weeks, that 2 week span in like April and May. That was before Alvarez went down. Which leads me perfectly into my next point. Francisco Alvarez is on the cusp of returning. He caught 9 innings a couple days ago. I think it was last week. He caught a combined no-hitter for the Brooklyn Cyclones, which I don't know where that came from, but of course Alvarez did it. And Edwin Diaz is close to returning, although that might be a bad thing. But even still, like even when he's not at his best, if he's not blowing 3 out of 4 games, which is like what he was doing while he was healthy this year, quote unquote, if he can pitch not at like a .56 ERA or whatever he was at in 2022, if he can hover around like a 2.3, 2.4 ERA, that would be huge for us because we need another arm out of the bullpen. We had to go to Drew Smith when Reed Garrett got into trouble today. I don't know if any of you have known this or listened last year when I went on a couple rants about the Mets, but I do not like Drew Smith at all. I've ranted about him before. I think he is terrible. I don't like his windup, his delivery. He's just weird. I didn't want him to want to get him back off the IL because I knew it was gonna hurt us. And if Iglesias or Torrens didn't make a sick double play today, we probably lose that game. And if we don't get a lucky squibber broken bat, we probably blow that game after going into the ninth up 2 runs. Shout out the boys for having that 3-run ninth inning. That was big time. That was clutch gene, and we needed it. We needed to come home on a high note. I did not want to come back after losing 2 in a row. But even if we did, I would have been okay with it because I know how good the Phillies are, and I know we faced Ranger Suarez and who pitched today. Let me check real quick. It was Taiwan Walker pitched today, and Ranger Suarez pitched yesterday. I'm pretty sure those are 2 top guys for the Phillies. Taiwan Walker, a former Met, that is. Yeah, Suarez pitched yesterday. So we faced 2 of their top guys, and we scored enough runs. We scored 8 runs in 2 games. Now the Phillies did score more. They scored 12 runs in those 2 games because they beat us 7-2 yesterday. Just I don't know what Marte was doing on that play. That's terrible. But the thing is, we don't have anywhere to put him. We need his bat in the lineup, but we can't put him at DH because JD Davis is already clogging that up. Or this idea just came to my mind. What if we move him to first base? Trade P at the deadline, move Marte to first base. That might be interesting because he's getting old. He's getting less athletic, and first base might be a spot where we could put him. I actually kind of like that now. Now that I'm thinking about it. Ooh, I'm gonna check if he has any experience at first base, maybe in the minors or anything, which I doubt he does because he is very athletic. All right, I can't find it, but that would be an interesting move, which leads me to my next topic of the day, getting away from the Mets now and going to the other team in town that's been way more fun to watch slash listen to, the New York Yankees, and that pains me to say. But they did get taken over by the Dodgers this weekend. The Dodgers took over their ballpark, took over their borough. River Ave was Dodgers country, and that was crazy. But what I want to say is about the right side of the infield, Gleyber Torres and Anthony Rizzo. First, starting with Gleyber Torres, I think DJ LeMahieu should be playing second and Oswaldo Cabrera should be at third. Yeah, I know it's only 2 games, but those are 2 costly errors against the top team in the league. And you're going to be playing those top teams in October. You cannot be making those mistakes. He already has 10 errors this season. We are only in June. I think he leads second baseman. DJ is a good glove. And Oswaldo Cabrera already showed you that he can man third base every day earlier this season. So that's what I would do with Glaber. And then at the deadline to get rid of Rizzo because he's been terrible, I would either go after a first baseman, maybe like a Josh Bell, or move Jason Dominguez there just for this year and then move him back once you most likely lose Verdugo to free agency this offseason. Because he does have infield experience in the minors. He's coming back off a UCL or an UCL tear, Tommy John. That's what Bryce Harper did. And I think it could work just for this year because you need to get Rizzo out of that lineup. He's hitting .034 in the month of June. That is horrendous. Those are gross numbers. And not the good gross. Those are disgusting. And you need him at his bat out of the lineup. His defense hasn't been good either. So if you can get Josh Bell, I would. But if you can, I would move Dominguez to first just for this season. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm your host, Ben Ballion, and this was the Sports Pod.